Good morning. We're on page 6 of your packet. We're going to be talking about mean, standard deviation, and variance. Now you've already had a preview, a little bit taste of the mean and standard deviation when we're finding the z-scores. So now we're going to just keep talking about it and making sure we understand it clearly when it comes to our data. First of all, the standard deviation. A statistics that tells us how far from the mean, so here you put the mean, a certain piece of data is. It also tells us how spread out the data items are in our data set. So you should be filling this in on page 6 of your note. The mathematics symbol for standard deviation is the lowercase Greek letter sigma. And it looks like this. Okay. Now we're going to use our calculator to calculate the standard deviation. We've done this already once to find the z-score, so I just want to make sure we got it. The first thing though it tells us here to find the mean. So we'll find the mean, and we're also going to find, and don't forget in the mean in your calculator is this x with a bar across it up top. Okay? So let's do that. So you turn your calculators on. Don't forget to turn on your stat plot if you have not done so by hitting second and y equals, and we're going to hit enter and enter. So again, make sure you turn this on, and also make sure that your box and whisker plot is on also. Typically it's here. All you got to do is get your cursor here, slide it over, hit enter the box and whisker plot. Once you do that, you can go to stat edit, and you're going to enter your data. So your data here in this case is 600, 470, 170, 430, and 300. Once you've entered your data, if you want to pause the video, enter your data, and then come back, you may do so at this time. Now that our data is entered, let's calculate it. So you're going to hit stat, go over to calc. We only have one column of numbers, so we're going to do the one variable stat. So you can enter until you calculate it. So what is our mean? 394, which is right here, the first number. Your mean is always your first number. And then your standard deviation is right here, which is, I would say, 147.32. 147.3. Any of that will work. So on your paper, here where it says the mean, we're going to type in 394. You write in 394. Then we're going to scroll down. So it says find the mean. We did that. Another thing they have here is called here's the standard deviation, which is the square root of the variance. So standard deviation is 147.32. But something else that we're going to deal with is called the variance. The variance, which goes right here. When you find the mean of the number, step 3, we call this number the variance, and it's represented by the math symbol, which is your standard deviation symbol squared. So if you take 147.32 and square it, you get your variance, which is 21,703. And again, if you take the square root of the standard deviation, or the square root of the variance, you get the standard deviation. So make sure you fill this in your paper if it's not on there. So one more time. The variance is the standard deviation squared. And if you take the square root of the variance, you get the standard deviation. Now the variance is not given to you in your calculator. You have to figure that out once you get the standard deviation symbol. So standard deviation gives us a standard way of knowing, let's go to page 7, of what is normal. So here you put normal. We can use it to decide which dogs are extra large or extra small. Z-scores, we talked about z-scores. It indicates how many standard deviations a certain data element is from the mean. And we've done the formula is z-score. You got x minus the mean divided by the standard deviation. It is also called the standard score. Hopefully you're filling in your blanks. Say say again?
Does that say M?
This one?
Yeah.
M for mean, sure.
Oh, okay.
It's just a cursive M or wiggly M. If a data element has a z-score of 3, what does that mean? It means that it is 3 standard deviations away from the mean. So if it has a z-score of 3, it means that it's 3 standard deviations from the mean. So now what I want you to do is we're going to do example number 1. It's at the bottom there. And example number 1 says Team A quiz scores. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some of this information, and I want you to figure out the z-score. I went ahead and did this one already. The mean is 81.5. The variance is 21.43. And the standard deviation is 4.63. The z-score for the quiz score of 89. So you take 89 minus the mean, which is what? What's the mean? 81.5. And you're going to divide that by the standard deviation of 4.63. Once you get your answer, put it in the blank provided. Now I want you to do this number 2 on your own and be ready to come to class and show me the answers and what you've got done. Thank you.